Going into Obsession, I had the wrong idea about what it actually was. The only thing I had seen was one teaser on Instagram where a woman completely loses it on her boyfriend at a restaurant. And from that, I had built out my own little theory where this guy falls for a girl who turns out to be unhinged, gets trapped in this relationship with someone dangerous. Maybe there's something vaguely succubus adjacent. But then I started hearing people talk about it everywhere, and I saw it was getting some serious praise. So I found myself in a packed theater with basically no additional information about what I was walking into. I walked out having seen one of my favorite horror movies of the past decade. I would comfortably put Obsession up there with Nope, Weapons, and Longlegs. I know that last one's kind of a hot take, but I don't know. I liked when Nicolas Cage was like, "Let me in now!" It just does something for me. I don't know. So the basic setup for Obsession goes as follows. A hopeless romantic named Bear breaks a mysterious trinket called a one-wish willow to make his friend Nikki fall in love with him. He gets exactly what he wished for in a monkey paw style twist, and it destroys his entire life. Now, something that horror has been genuinely struggling with for a while now is just telling a story set in the present day with Gen Z at the lead and it not being completely embarrassing. You either get movies that are very clearly being written by people twice the age of the characters, trying to approximate how young people actually talk and then failing horribly. It's a how do you do, fellow kids style of screenwriting.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
A good example of this that was very painful and difficult to sit through was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
You're always gaslighting me.
You fucking trigger me.
You are so toxic.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you get really well-crafted horror movies starring young people that are conveniently set before smartphones ever existed. So nobody has to figure out how to make modern life feel cinematic without it being cringe. Obsession threads that needle completely. This is a Gen Z horror movie. I would go as far as to say that it is the Gen Z horror movie. It understands the specific texture of relationships that people in my generation go through, the social dynamics, the awkward digital age courtship rituals, all of it. And it never once feels like it's straining to get there or like it's trying and failing to appeal to the audience. It just sort of shows it as it is. Speaking of cringe, the film is genuinely funny. It's surprisingly funny. I want to be upfront that saying that is a compliment. That's not a dig. I'm not saying it's unintentionally funny or it's so bad it's good. This sits closer to a horror comedy than straight horror, and the humor works because it all comes from social discomfort. Especially if you're someone like me who has really bad social anxiety. You will be squirming through most of the first act from pure secondhand embarrassment. And that only works because Curry Barker is completely in control of what he's doing as the film's director. He knows exactly what kind of movie he is making, and he never loses the thread. This is his feature debut, which is almost offensive to anyone who has ever tried to make a movie, because the confidence on display here is not that of a first-timer. There's currently this really weird discourse online where people are saying that Curry Barker, as well as Kane Pixels, who's making the Backrooms movie, people are coming up with this crazy conspiracy theory that they didn't actually direct the movie and that they had some mentor come in and shadow direct, and then them being YouTubers, it's like a marketing ploy to say, look how young they are. I think that's all a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. These guys did direct these projects. I mean, the cast and crew are either really in on it or I don't know what to tell you. So what I'm getting at is here, this guy is a legitimate talent, and I cannot wait to see what he does next.
What the heck? No clothes allowed? Looks like we're gonna have to take all of our clothes off to even get in.
I'm sure we could keep our shorts on.
I know, I was thinking, man, I wish I could keep my clothes on, but I can't.
Inde Navarrette as Nikki is extraordinary. The role asks a huge amount from her because she has to be this warm, sweet, entirely normal person and then flip into something that doesn't move or speak or cry the way that a human being would. The physical performance alone is deeply upsetting. There's a scene in a bedroom where she's crying and freaking out in the corner, and she just looks so fundamentally wrong. It reminded me of the 2001 J-horror film Pulse, especially the way that she moves in the corner and in the shadows. Her face does things in this movie that your brain registers as a threat before you've consciously processed what you're even looking at. I genuinely think this will go down as one of the great horror performances, in the same conversation as Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, Kathy Bates in Misery, and Toni Collette in Hereditary. Michael Johnston as Bear is doing something harder than it looks, which is making you feel for a character that you're kind of rooting against. He's very selfish in a very recognizable, very human way, and Johnston walks that line carefully. Early in the film, there's real sympathy there, and that sympathy matters for everything that follows. I mean, you definitely feel for him when he's rehearsing to some random waitress what he's going to say to Nikki, and it's so uncomfortable. But then by the end of the movie, you're like, I hate this selfish prick. Dear Lord, I can't stand him. But then you're also like, he didn't really ask for this. And then you're like, well, Nikki didn't ask for this. The movie is just so well written with its premise. It does so much with it. The supporting cast fills things out really well too. Cooper Tomlinson as Ian was a standout. He had a genuinely funny presence. He gave the film a lot of breathing room without ever undercutting the tension. Like, he kind of came off as a little bit of like a frat bro douchebag, but it wasn't cartoonish. It's like, I know guys that are kind of like that, and it works really well. He's still likable in that way, but at the same time, it's just a great comedic relief character. Megan Lawless as Sarah did feel a bit thin, and given what gets revealed about her character later on, I think she deserved a lot more to do. That is a minor complaint, but I get that the movie's not exactly about her, so she's not super relevant. I just think that certain moments that happen later on would have had much more of an emotional payoff if we just knew a bit more about her. And Andy Richter showing up as Sarah's father was really funny. It was a pleasant surprise. Any fellow Conan O'Brien fan will appreciate it. The cinematography in this film stopped me multiple times in my tracks. So many movies nowadays look completely washed out and gray, and this film just looks like a real movie. The way it plays with shadow is really smart. Nikki's face frequently falls into complete silhouette while the light sources behind and around her stay fully lit, which creates this dreamlike, disturbing half-presence quality. There's also a shot late in the film where a character is framed with so much negative space on one side that your brain knows they are about to die before anything has even happened. Like, yeah, there's going to be a jump scare, but with the way that that shot is set up, you know 5 minutes before it happens, they're dead. Rock Burwell's score was honestly my favorite single element of the entire movie. I have a deep weakness for synthesizer-heavy film scores, especially ones that are in the ambient genre. And while this doesn't hit you over the head with it the way that disaster pieces work on It Follows does, and that's still one of my all-time favorite film scores, the music here in Obsession is gorgeous in a way that feels genuinely dangerous. There's this lush, almost romantic quality running through a lot of it that keeps getting cut through by harsh ambient textures and dissonant noise. And that dynamic maps perfectly onto Nikki as a character. Warm and lovely one second, and then completely evil and ominous the next. The practical effects, without giving anything away, are outstanding. There's a dead body shown briefly in the third act that is so grotesque and so detailed, the entire audience just went, "Oh!" when they showed the body, even from a wide shot, and then they show some close-ups, and you're like, oh, good lord. Obsession is a tight, confident, genuinely scary movie that also happens to be a perceptive portrait of a specific kind of young, toxic relationship and the way quiet selfishness can spiral into something monstrous. Curry Barker made this for under $1 million, and that is almost hard to believe. I honestly can't wait to see what he's going to make next. Apparently, he's another YouTuber who made a horror movie among the likes of Markiplier, Chris Stuckman, and Fred Figglehorn.
The gig is up, Fred.
But jokes aside, I actually like how studios like Neon, A24, and Blumhouse are picking up horror projects made by YouTubers. I'm very excited for the Backrooms movie, and I'll be making a video on that when it drops. So, what'd you think of Obsession? Have you seen it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below in the comments. I'm Cole McCormick. You're watching Firewood Media. This is going to be one of the last videos I shoot in this room here as I am moving. So this background is going to go bye-bye and we'll change things up. That should happen by, I want to say late June. Big thank you to channel members for making videos like these possible. For $1.99 a month, you can support the channel. You can see videos early before they come out to the public, and you get access to our Discord server. Their names are listed right up here on screen. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.